and your host for tonight, Gio. And to my left is my very, very lovely wife and co-hostess, the mistress of dorkness herself, Susie Q.
Evening all. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Kwanzaa. Happy Yule. Whatever.
And we would like to welcome you all to a very special holiday Christmas edition of Game Masters 911, the tabletop podcast where we answer your very important questions on how to be a game master, how to be a better player, and any other questions you may have. We are also the only tabletop podcast on Twitch that is simulcast on Mrs. Claus's Diva Cup.
That's just gross. That's not even right.
You're right. Merry Festivus, honey.
Oh, that's screw it. We'll go with Festivus. I like that. Festivus is good.
And it's Festivus for the rest of us.
Woot woot.
Alrighty, we have a number of big things going on this evening. And just to let you all know, we do indeed still have about an hour left, 10 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. We will be cutting it down. We'll be shutting down the polls. You will no longer be able to buy your tickets for the giveaway of a standard license copy of Fantasy Grounds. Yes, Fantasy Grounds, the virtual tabletop that you have seen on myself, Rob 2E, FSH Schmo, and a number of other streamers who stream tabletop games. It is the virtual tabletop that we use. So please, if you would like it, the first ticket is free. The next 4 tickets, because you can get a total of 5 tickets, can be bought with your stream experience points. It's 100 experience points a ticket. All experience points are no purchase required. You do not need to pay any cash for this whatsoever. This is a $39 retail U.S. value of Fantasy Grounds. If you already have a standard license or hire a Fantasy Grounds and you win, then we will talk to you about possibly getting you some modules. Speaking of Fantasy Grounds for a moment, we, by the way, are not sponsored by Fantasy Grounds at all. We just happen to use it, and we love using that program. Fantasy Grounds right now, from now through January 2nd, is running a discount, a holiday discount of 25 to 50% off everything in their store. So please be sure to stop by, whether you win today or not. Please be sure to stop by and check them out. And if you don't want to buy anything and you haven't gotten Fantasy Grounds yet, stop by and get their free demo version, which if you're going to be a player, the demo version is all you really need to have. Stop by and download that for free.
Aye. Insert shameless plug here.
I know. I should be working for Fantasy Grounds right now. Smiteworks. If you've got a job, just let me know. Okay, now, another one of our giveaways. This is Susie Q's giveaway. I'll let her go ahead and tell you about this one.
Oh. So, for those of you who sent in your holiday photos, woohoo! Congrats! I went goo-goo over them. I loved them. I can't remember what I was going to give away for this.
We were going to give away, quote-unquote, fabulous prizes.
Oh, yes, the quote-unquote fabulous prizes. Woohoo! Shh! We'll tell you what they are at the end of the show.
Okay. Well, actually, I can tell you exactly what it is right this second. It is a copy of Luck Slinger on Steam. We will give you the code for Luck Slinger. And that is what you're going to be winning for this evening. By the way, for those of you who vote, if you vote for the one that does indeed win, you'll be winning some Stream XP. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and look at what the people sent us.
All right. Okay. So, photo number 1. Okay, this kind of holds a special place. This holds a special place in my heart just because of the puppy.
It is. That is such a cute little puppy dog. We are not going to say, by the way, at all who any of these photos belong to. We are not going to tell you their names. If you in chat would like to say, oh, look, that's my picture of such and such, then awesome. Go ahead and say it. But otherwise, we are not going to say it, so therefore there's not going to be any bias in voting. So.
Yep. Nope, this one just holds a special place because of the puppy dog. I love puppy dogs.
See, not only is this a great picture because it has a nice puppy dog, it's got the fireplace and stockings and the Christmas tree, it's got all that good stuff. Look at the 4-paneled picture in the background of the winter scene. Talk about going all out.
That is just awesome. I'm sorry. That is just fabulous. And the person who actually sent this in was a little miffed because he was waiting for it to be cold enough so that they could light the fire and really have it come out.
Yeah, I know. That's very unfortunate. Okay.
It is.
On to picture number 2. Holy shit!
Santa everywhere. Oh. Oh my goodness. I love this. And I just love the whole mirrored thing. That's just all right. That's just awesome.
See, it's like Santa was a swinger. And he invited all of his elves, because I don't know if you can see it down here at the bottom, but down at the bottom, there's a whole shit ton of little Santas all over the gifts. And
that's great.
And there's just Santas everywhere, and the mirrored walls. Oh god, that's freaking awesome as hell.
That is great. I love that.
Oh! Now, all right. So the person who sent this to us said, "This is what my holiday is. I'm driving home for the holidays, and I have McDonald's for my holiday dinner." So this is their holiday decoration on their way home for the holidays. So this is a legit entry.
Legit.
And I love
it. I love it. It appeals to the fat kid inside me. Now I kind of want a Big Mac.
Yep. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We will be going back through these one more time, and we'll give them a title before I put up what the giveaway votes are. So, all right. This one's pretty cool, and I don't just mean the snow on top.
That one is. It's a pretty one. It's so pretty.
I love it. I love wreaths that are made out of natural materials and stuff like that. And the snow across the top is awesome, especially where this person comes from. I should say these people come from. That is awesome that they actually got a picture with snow on top of their wreath.
Do they even have snow there?
They tell me that normally they don't, but they've been having a bunch of snowstorms in the last week.
Huh. Weirdness.
I know. Tell me about it. Oh, no!
All right, this is another one of my favorites, too. I'm sorry, just because it tickles me.
I don't know what to say here. I think perhaps my favorite part here is the Photoshop Santa hat, which I do believe is almost the exact same Santa hat that is on my icon in the stream right now.
I think it is the same Santa hat that's on your icon in stream. That's awesome.
But that is too cool.
I love it.
Now this one, this one came as a last minute out of the blue from one of our relatively new followers. And this, I'm sorry, looks like it came out of a Norman Rockwell painting.
It does. It's very, very like Thomas Kincaid, Norman Rockwell-ish. I'm actually jelly of this photo. I kind of want that.
You know, I think I've eaten pickles or pizza off the plate this was painted on.
Probably. I think didn't we do like Santa cookies on a plate like that last year?
I think we did. But honestly, I just have to say, I love the architecture of the room. I love the brick and the wood and the exposed beams. I'm one of those old fashioned, old world kind of guys. And this is the kind of shit that I love to see. I love this.
Yes, this is gorgeous. To the person that sent this in, I do have to say this is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like a painting, but it's not. This is actually a picture. I think
Yeah.
this was done on like a cell phone, so it has kind of like this bluish tinge over the top of it, but it is a legit picture. Now, I love this picture. Susie and I had a Christmas tree exactly like this. And the important part here is not the fact that it's a small tree with a shit ton of lights, but look at the size and number of fucking presents around this thing. Holy shit. And, of course, choo choo train. Come on, choo choo train.
The yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, this definitely reminds me of our very, very first Christmas when we got together and we had that little Charlie Brown ass Christmas tree. And let's see, we wrapped our presents in. We were so poor when we first got married that we wrapped them in paper towels and newspapers and handmade all of our gifts. Matter of fact, I still have. Susie made me a friendship bracelet for our very first married Christmas together. And
I don't even think we were married yet. This is before we were married.
was it when we were dating and living together?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, oh, by the way, if you're under the age of 18 and you wish to live in sin with your significant other, don't do it.
We're totally cool with that.
No, we're totally against that. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and live in sin, because sin is awesome. But yeah, we had a tree that was very much like that, and she made me a friendship bracelet, which I still have 20 some years later.
Yes, somewhere.
Yeah, it's in my jewelry box still. Okay, so I'm going to rewind this. And while I rewind it, I'll let Susie Q go ahead and chat with you guys about what the rules are of voting.
Okay, so what you guys are going to do is you're going to vote for the top 3. So what 3 are the best? And we're going to pick the top 1. Okay? That's how this is going to work. Can't pick more than 3, so don't be voting for every single one of them.
Actually, I don't think Revlo will allow you to vote more than once.
Oh! Well, Revlo sucks then. So you can only vote for 1. Sorry, guys. So you have to vote for what one you think is the best one.
Now,
because Revlo's a little bitch.
If you happen to be on the winning side, you will get some stream experience points from it. So you'll have 45 minutes from the time I say go to be able to do this. I will show you how to vote here in a minute. But first, let's go through them, and we will give them some titles so everybody knows what the hell these things are.
Okay, number 1.
All right, number 1 picture. I like the dog in this one.
So do I.
I think we shall name this one Dog Day Christmas.
That works for me. I like Dog Day Christmas. So number 1 is Dog Day Christmas, folks. Number 2. Oh, there's a holy shit ton of Santas.
How about that then? Ho ho holy shit, it's Santa!
I like that. Okay, we'll keep that one. So number 2 is ho ho holy shit, it's Santa. All right, number 3.
You know he's got a Big Mac in there, right?
I know he's got a Big Mac in there. Who wouldn't have a Big Mac in there? Big Macs are freaking awesome. Okay?
So in that case, we need this one has to be called Happy Big Mac Christmas.
Okay. Holy Big Mac Christmas.
No, Happy Big Mac Christmas.
Okay, Happy Big Mac Christmas.
The fourth one. The fourth one.
That's the fourth one.
This is a difficult one.
This one really is. Huh. Well, there's 4 pine cones.
And there's 1 wreath. All right.
1 wreath, 4 pine cones.
Yep. You know who he looks like? He looks like Santa Claus. He looks like Santa Claus's
This is
other brother.
brother.
So definitely, this is Santa's other brother.
Other brother.
When we looked over this one, Susie and I were like, how are we going to make this one a silly title? Because this one looks so damn nice. And then I studied it. I zoomed in on it. I got this thing down so it was like, I mean, I've got 2 high definition monitors that are hooked up to my computer. And I actually stretched this thing across both of them, was almost all the way down to the pixel level here. And those of you who watch my mapping stream, you know I really get down into it. So, I figured this one's name out to be Away in a Brick Manger.
There you go. Away in a brick manger. That sounds wrong. I'm sorry. That just sounds wrong. This one made me laugh only because it looks like somebody's getting a fan for Christmas.
It does, and it makes it look like the fan is actually blowing the lights, like the stream of lights look like they're coming off because the fan is blowing them off. So we said, a fan of Christmas.
Yep. So the last one is a fan of Christmas.
Okay, so I'm going to be starting the voting process right now, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get a link in chat here in a moment to be able to bet.
Go, 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 guys. Bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it. Come on. You know what one you really want. You know what one you really want.
So, in order to vote for the one that you wish to vote for, what you do is you type !bet, the letter, which will be A through G, I do believe, and how much you want to bet. You bet with your stream experience points. So you can bet as minimum of 5 all the way up to 100,000 experience points if you want to. You go ahead and bet on which of those holiday decorations are your best, or your favorite. So while that's going on, let's get to the reason why you're all here. The reason why you're all here is because you want to ask us some questions. So please be sure to PM Susie Q or one of the mods. Mods, make sure to scrub the chat to see if there's any legitimate questions and send them on over to Susie so Susie can go ahead and ask us both. And we will try to answer them on stream for you. So, let's get it started.
All right. For our first question, do you have any tips for role-playing a character that will be multi-classing into every class?
This question came from the D&D Facebook page today. The fan Facebook page. Oh, yes. I saw this one.
Sweet baby Jesus.
And I could not help but want to grab a hold of it so I could answer this question. Let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to multi-class into every single character class, you don't give a shit about how to roleplay the character. If you're gonna roleplay that character, be fucking schizophrenic. Because you obviously are schizophrenic if you want to be all 11 fucking classes. Are you nuts? But if you really want to do that, and you really want to go ahead and be 2 levels in every single freaking character class, except Bard, because nobody wants to be a Bard. But if you want to go ahead and be, a multi-class character where you have very, very, very many classes, then let's be honest, you gotta play in a way that your character feels like a flake. Your character is looking to discover so many different things, but at the same time not master a single thing. Which makes me wonder why you're not playing a bard to begin with, because they are the jack of all trades and the masters of none. Why aren't you just playing a bard? If you want to play every single character class, then just play a bard. For God's sake, just take the damn bard.
Yeah, I have to agree. And can I just say that even reading this question kind of made me feel like someone was digging a fork into my eye, because even thinking about this kind of made me go, huh? Derp, derp, derp. What are you thinking? Really? Just play a bard. They pretty much do that anyway.
I felt anally violated by earthworms when I read that.
I feel sorry for the earthworms.
Hey, I washed.
We won't go into that.
The earthworm did. Anyway, next question.
Okay. Does a paladin have to be lawful good?
Alright, this one's really, really funny, and I know where this one comes from. There has been a YouTuber / Twitcher / whom I will not name by name. You guys can go ahead and go look for it. Who looked at the brand new stuff from Unearthed Arcana, which are 2 new Paladin oaths, which is the Oath of Conquest and the Oath of Treachery. I had to think there for a second. Both of which are geared towards more evilly aligned paladins. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he said that paladins are only lawful good. And he put his stamp on that, and in the comments of his videos, people would argue with him, and he said, "You're incorrect," and that's all he would say. So we will move on past that point. The question here is, should they only be lawful good? No. Paladin does not mean a lawful good avenger of goodness or upholder of goodness, beacon shiny lightness of blah. I'm sorry, that's not true. The Paladin was based on the Templars and the Knights of the Hospital from the Crusades, is where they were. They're holy warriors. They're warriors for a god. That god does not necessarily mean that you have to be good. There are demons in D&D, there are angels in D&D, there are nature-y type of creatures who are neutral in D&D, and yes, exactly, the DMG has options for non-good paladins. The point here is the fact that paladins, in and of themselves, should they be only lawful good? This is from a role-playing standpoint, not so much a mechanical standpoint. And from a role-playing standpoint, first of all, they haven't been only lawful good since late 2nd edition during the point buy era of the character options. And they haven't been, so that's been almost 2 full freaking decades, they have not been lawful good. So, for the amount of time that paladins have been around, which the first opportunity for a paladin was in Gary Gygax's module, A Paladin in Hell, which was in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons from the very late 70s, early 80s, until the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, was about 15 years, and then 20 plus years of non-lawful good. Paladins have actually been not lawful good longer than they were lawful good. So pull your grognard stick out of your ass. No, they don't need to be lawful good.
And I have to agree with that. And when I first saw this, and I did watch this, the stream that this came from, and the question that this came from, and the whole 9 yards, and I went absolutely bug shit bananas on this one because this was a bunch of bullshit, and the fact that said person, we won't name names, would not answer the freaking question, it just goes to show. Never mind, it's pissing me off. We're just not going to go into that. We'll just leave it as is. We
will just agree to disagree with the person who has 77,000 followers who wait on bated breath to be told that they can do whatever they want to do because they're special snowflakes.
I have a special place for those special snowflakes, but I really don't think they're going to like it.
Whatever. Welcome to hell, special snowflakes. You'll melt. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun.
Exactly. Okay. What's your recommendation for people who want to try to build a world in D&D that has nothing to do with the lore, magic, etc., and it's all entirely different?
Okay. This is actually really funny, considering if I look over at Susie's screen right now, there's an icon sitting on her screen for Iron Maidens. Iron Maidens uses the 5th edition D&D mechanics, but doesn't use the classes, doesn't use the lore, doesn't use the magic, doesn't use any of that world, and is reskinned into being a science fantasy world and a science fantasy game. This is what this question is asking. I got to talk to the person for a little bit about it when they had asked. And yeah, exactly that. You don't. Mechanics of a system can be utilized anywhere for anything. Go ahead and take Pathfinder and make it into a sci-fi game. Take Shadowrun and make it into a medieval game. I mean, sure, trying to go to the net while you're in Shadowrun and being a Shadowrunner when there is no real net. Well, hell, who says there's no net? Crystal balls. Hey, you're going to Shadowrun the crystal balls. That'd be kind of cool. But, just because a setting doesn't lend itself to the lore of whatever system has been written for it, that doesn't mean anything. As I've told many people over and over again, all a game system is just a series of math word problems that you can go ahead and do stuff with. I mean, just utilize the math for whatever you need to utilize it for.
Okay, next question. Oh, we got a new question. This is from Retro. Do you think a holiday feast would be a good place to start a campaign in terms of setting?
All right, say that one again. I'm sorry. I was paying attention to something else.
Do you think a holiday feast would be a good place to start a campaign in terms of setting?
Yes. Yes, there's a 1,000 different things that could happen during a holiday feast. From anything that could be bad to anything that could be good. You could make good friends, new enemies. You could make, contacts. You could have skill challenges. You could do pretty much anything. By the way, I had just gotten a question from one of our viewers on why is the voting system weighted on the for the votes for the most bestest of the holiday decorations. It's based on number of experience points, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about the weighting of it. So if you want to overweight something, you are more than welcome to overweight it by throwing experience points at it.
Okay, next question. Opinions. This comes from Hawkeye. Opinions on rolling stats in general, and what to do if a player gets stats that are heavily over or underpowered. I think this is one of the reasons why I've recently become a big fan of the point buy system.
Point buy does help balance a lot of that stuff out. Standard array, of course, balances it all out.
Yes, standard array is another one. I'm a really big fan of it, just because it kind of balances it out a little bit.
But one of the things that the random rolling doesn't account for, and there's a section in the player's handbook and in the DMG that states there are such things as super characters and doomed characters on both sides of that coin that have either stats that are way above norm or way below norm. And it's really up to the player and to the game master to discuss those characters to see if there's a way to balance them out. Now, I personally, if I see a character that has a bunch of 18s on their character sheet and nothing below a 10, that's a superpowered character right there. There's no detriment. So there's a possibility that I might sit down and I might want to speak to that player and say, hey, look, how about giving you a flaw of some kind? Something that's, you're scared of water. You won't cross water, Think of the A-Team from back in the day, B.A. Baracus, and his inability to fly because he was terrified of flying. And the rest of the party had to basically knock his ass out or trick him in order to get him to fly. That would be a good instance of somebody who has a flaw to make up for the fact that they had such great abilities elsewhere. Now, on the other hand, if you had a person who had a doomed character, a character who had almost no stat above a 10, and I have played one of those characters myself, I rolled it up just as anybody else would. It was a legit character in front of a game master who goes, okay, yep, you got to play with those stats. I'll tell you now, that is probably one of the hardest damn characters you're ever going to play, because it doesn't give you any bonuses mechanically, and you have to pretty much make shit up on the fly. And you come up with some pretty wild and crazy shit. But in that instance, if I was the game master and the player came to me and said, look, my stats suck, I might give them a little boost, a little boon of some kind that says, hey, look, yeah, this helps you out.
Okay. Again, that's why I kind of like the whole, you know, standard array and point buy.
That's actually exactly why I use standard array in all the Wraithborn games, is that way there is no doomed character and no superpower character in any of those games. Everybody has the same exact footing when it comes to stats.
Okay. Could you go more in depth with magic item creation, specifically charged items like a wand of magic missiles or the like? The DMG item is charged with something like 7 charges, so when creating one, do you have to pump multiple spell slots in to get this effect, or is it just a magical freak of nature that conversion doesn't happen?
Okay, so when you're creating a magic item, and you're taking that time, for example, a wand of magic missiles is considered to be an uncommon magic item that costs, we'll say, 500 gold pieces to make. You can build your magic items at 25 gold pieces per day, etc., etc. So it would take 20 days to build it, but it only has 7 charges in it. What you're doing is you're casting that spell so many times on an item that you are enchanting with special elixirs and special magical unguents and other stuff, that what you're doing is you're basically making that object have a memory for that spell. And it runs out after time. So what you're doing is you're actually not honestly casting a spell into it. You're forcing that magic to manifest itself in the object. And just like a battery, it has a limited supply of energy that it has internally. So, no, you're not losing any spell slots. You could be making an item and go on an adventure and come back to your item or whatever and not have to worry about your spell slots for the day.
Okay. I like that. Then it explains it kind of a little bit better. Okay. This one kind of makes me laugh. What are the worst people you've had at a table?
The worst people I've ever had at a table, and I'm going to put this as a type of person instead of individual people. Like, I'm not going to name names kind of thing. The worst person, type-wise, that I've ever had is a rules lawyer. That is my utmost number one, I hate you type of person. I do not like rules lawyers. I do not want somebody who's going to stand up like the player's handbook or the DMG are the Bible and quote to me the passage and the page on the way something is supposed to work. I feel that the game master is the one who is in control of the world, and as long as he's breaking the rules consistently, and I said break the rules consistently, then the players should understand it. Now, that's a rules lawyer. A person who has a rules question is entirely different, or a person who has multiple rules questions is entirely different than a rules lawyer. A person who understands the rules and has questions like, hey, that doesn't work that way, isn't it supposed to work this way instead? That's entirely different. That is a much, much different type of player. That's the clarification player, is what their type is called. And those players are fine because you can say, hey, look, talk to me after the game. That person is more than happy to come talk to you after the game. And to be honest, as a game master, you're running 1,000 different things all at the same time, plot lines and mechanics and this and that and every other thing. The players know their own characters better than anything else in your world. And so they understand the rules about what affects their characters better than anything else in your world. So while you're thinking of monsters and traps and plot lines, they're thinking of this spell causes X amount of damage and has this as its bonus in order to cast it and what its saving throw is and all the rest of these things. They have legitimate concerns. They will come to you. They'll ask you what those legitimate, for a legitimate answer. You should answer those people. A rules lawyer is the one who hammers you and tells you that you need to back down, that there is no such thing as a special circumstance, and that you are always wrong, and this is the way it goes, and you suck as a game master because you're not doing what it says on page 44, paragraph 3, subsection 2. So that's the difference. That is the big difference. I've had both kinds of players at my table. I would much prefer to have the explanation type of player at my table than the rules lawyer at my table. Though my close second for unfavorite player types is the girlfriend. I dislike the girlfriend.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. But I have GM'd before. The people that I hate the most are the know-it-alls. And one of the first times I ran was actually at Gen Con. And some of the people that I ran for were the know-it-alls. And this drove me bonkers. I think they're worse than the rules lawyers because they don't even look at the book. They don't even quote it verse and passage. They know it. They no, that's not the way that goes because that's just the way it is. They don't even have a valid argument. They just know it. They just know that that's the way that goes.
Yeah, the know-it-all is actually slightly different than the rules lawyer because the rules lawyer knows the mechanics. The know-it-all knows about the world. That's the lore person. That's the person who knows that, oh, Shandukal is the god of adventurers, and he was discovered in Myth Draenor during 2nd edition in the time of troubles, and that is that person.
Yeah, well, you can't have Tamora here. Tamora doesn't exist in this world. You can't play a gnome who follows Tamora. She doesn't exist in this world. Well, I'm sorry. I want to play a gnome who follows Tamora. Back off, butthead. This is what my gnome does.
But paladins are always lawful good.
Oh, I'm gonna punch you right in the freaking eye.
But before I get any further, let me explain something real quick about the girlfriend character. Okay, the girlfriend player. The girlfriend player.
The girlfriend.
Yeah, the girlfriend. The girlfriend player is not a wife or a husband. Okay, first of all, girlfriend doesn't even need to be a girl. It can be a guy. It could be a best friend. It doesn't even have to be a romantic involvement. It is that person that the player brings with them to the table that doesn't play because they're interested or they're just that tag along kind of thing. It's that third wheel or fifth wheel. And they sit there and they're the person who does that, can't we leave? Honestly. Oh my god. You're such dorks. And they tisk themselves into non-existence. That's a girlfriend. Yes. Yeah, they just pop out of existence because they've tisked themselves to death because what you're doing is stupid. They don't get it. Oh my god, why are you rolling those dice? Oh my god, oh my god. That is what a girlfriend player is. We do not like girlfriend players. But if you're going to be a good player, if you're going to be a good play group, and you're going to be a good game master, always try to be inclusive with girlfriend. Now, the best ways as a game master I've found to bring that girlfriend into the fold, because let's be honest, it's different with Twitch. When you're streaming something, you can't do that really, but you try to bring people in when you're gaming, especially face to face. And the girlfriend is one of those opportunities where you could probably end up with a brand new gamer that comes in to play a game. As the game master, bring that girlfriend or boyfriend or friend, whatever it may be, over to sit by you. Let them see behind your GM screen and say, hey, do you want to kill such and such a person today? Or do you want to cause them some damage? Hey, why don't you roll this fireball? Let's see how much you singe the hair off that one's nuts. You do that kind of stuff and you start, just drawing them in. Pull them in. Come on, be that drug dealer in the corner going, hey, kid, look at here's your first D4. The next ones are, you got to buy those, but this first one's free. Be that person. Be that, as game master, you're the drug dealer for the idea that role playing is the drug that everybody wants to be addicted to. You're the one who's trying to hook them on that. So have that girlfriend character, that girlfriend player, help with the story. Hand them an NPC and say, go ahead, play this. Give them a hard time. This person hates such and such. Go ahead, do it. They will be hooked for life because they start off in an adversarial position with somebody they care about, and then they will move forward and they will become a better player, and they'll want to sit down and they'll want to be a part of the story. They'll start showing up to these game sessions and they'll be excited. They'll put down their cell phones and say, hey, I'm not going to be on Facebook. I'm going to fuck with you screwballs today until you bend over and buy me pizza.
Or worst case scenario, if said girlfriend player is still being a bitch, you get yourself a Suzy Q and make him sit next to her. You know how many of those little bitches I've scared away over the years?
I don't run games at home anymore because Suzy Q is not allowed to sit next to anybody else. I have to actually teleconference her in when we're in my own house playing a game because she's not allowed to sit next to any more players.
True. It's true. I broke it. I broke it. I broke the house. I'm not allowed to sit next to anybody. And if you bring in your girlfriend player and she's being a complete twat waffle, I'm probably going to scare her away and she's never going to come back. So either way, it's a win-win for me. This is why Gio only brings me out on special occasions. Mostly when he's sick and tired of a player and they can't grasp the concept of how to play. And they've tisked themselves to the point where they've annoyed him. And it's me.
Okay, I see a question in chat from a person who's relatively new. I've never seen this person before. Any recommendations for a site where I can send new folks to build their own character on their own? A good one would be Hero Labs. They have a program that you can use for free that you can help build characters through and stuff like that. It's a wonderful program. It can convert the character into Fantasy Grounds XML type. It can convert XML back to a PDF. It's actually a very, very good program and a good website, but there are hundreds and hundreds of them out there as far as free websites and other such stuff. But I would never say let a player build their character by themselves. Always build a character with their game master, especially the first couple, because that'll give them an opportunity to kind of learn what the world is like that they're going to be playing in, which is always a big must. Don't ever let somebody just walk into it blind. And get some interaction. Basically, it's that interview time, almost like a job interview, where the game master is interviewing the player to see where that person, what they like to do. Is this a person who only wants to roll dice? Is this a person who only wants to act? Is this a person who's trying to further their career as a taxidermist? What are these people? So please, spend time. It's a social and an interactive game.
Okay, I have 2 questions. Okay, first is from Retro. How would you encourage players to do self-imposed checks, such as constitution checks, to see if their characters are nauseated when they see something gross?
That would be up to the game master. I wouldn't say worry about that as a player. If you think that something nauseates the player, then you can require that check. If the player thinks that should nauseate them, then they can either just say, I failed the check, or what have you, and just roleplay it. Like, oh, that just makes my character sick to his stomach. He goes over in a corner and he retches everywhere. That's fine. Let the players go ahead and do that. Dice do not have to be the be-all, end-all of everything. You do not have to roll dice for every damn thing. You can role play it. You can talk to the players about it. You can talk to them about these kinds of things. Now, if it's going to be an effect that's like a spell or a special ability or a feature or a trait that causes something to be nauseous, that's different. That's where the dice start coming into play. But if it's just going to be a description that's, like an offhand color remark of like, there's gore smeared across the walls and the entrails of the innkeeper are splayed like a spider's web, and his children's head and hands have been cut off and laid out in the patterns of spiders in that web. If a player goes, that's gross. By the way, that actually happened in a Star Wars game. If the player goes, ew, that's gross, then the player's going to be, or the character's probably going to be nauseated by it too. So just go with it. If the description grosses out a character, don't worry about the dice. Just say, go ahead, you can be nauseated.
Okay, and our next question comes from Hawkeye. Not sure if this is a question for GM 911. It's more for people in general. But how do you pick names for characters? I want to answer this one. Please let me answer this one. Okay, this one's really easy. We actually have two ways we do this. Okay, first of all, we either Google the name, literally Google, like I'll type in, I'll go to Google and I'll type in female dwarf names or female elf names. Or I will pick up the random name generator, which for us is our local Yellow Pages, and I will close my eyes and I will flip, and whatever page I stop on, I'll open it wide, close my eyes again, run my hand up and down the page. Wherever I stop, that's the first name. Then I'll pick another page, do the same thing over again. That's my last name. That's literally how I pick my names.
I have used Google Translate and come up with words that I specifically want to describe my character. Of course, they're very edgelord, kind of names. Shadow dancer, butt kissing monkey fucker or something like that, and go see what it means in Latin, and then translate it from Latin into like Russian or some such thing, and just keep doing the whole translate thing out until we come up with a name that sounds kind of fantasy-ish and kind of cool.
Okay. Next up, we have. Okay, have you ever wanted to run a D&D set in a video game world? If so, what would it be?
To be honest, I play tabletop to escape video games. And to bring my characters, or to make a character to bring to a video game world, would make it hypocritical. I think in today's day and age, with so many video games and the fact that their multimedia presence is so high, it's actually killing people's imaginations. It stunts them. Because people know, like, today's generations don't need to use their imagination. When you have something like Dark Souls that gives you such fantastic graphics right there on the screen, and you don't have to imagine what a creature sounds like or how it moves or any of the rest of those things. When I played video games when I was a kid, they were all 8-bit. You could only get so much out of a Final Fantasy, pixel. So I don't play in video game worlds, to be honest. I have played in games that were based on them. I have played in the World of Warcraft when it was 3rd edition. I've played in the Dragon Age series of role-playing games. I have played in, a whole bunch of other ones that have all been based on video games. And to be honest, I don't like them. I do them because other people wanted to do them, and they need an extra player, and I played in them. But I didn't like it, because I don't like playing in somebody else's world that already has way too much media attention to it. I'd rather use my imagination. And, as one of my players said for years, she believed that orcs had butterfly wings. And it wasn't until we showed her a picture, and that, ruined her immersion because she thought that orcs had butterfly wings.
Okay, there's actually a clarification on that. They want to know if you could take a video game and turn it into D&D. What would you do? What one would it be?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be honest and say this. This is far beyond the scope of what GM 911 can tell you. However, I do have a series coming out in January where one of the topics that I cover in one of them is how to convert a MMO or an RPG or a video game into 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Because the way 5e was written, it was written with the idea of bringing video game players back to the table. And so the diction that is used, the mechanics that are used, are the same ones that are used as the backbone of nearly every single video game on the planet. And I will answer that question more in depth in that series, which, by the way, is called Critical Hit. Initially, it was going to be called Campaign Critical. Now we're going to call it Critical Hit instead because more people like that name better. And I go through and I convert the Tryon Worlds Rifts, MMO, and World of Warcraft because those are the two that are most popular. I convert those two into 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. Now, inquiring minds want to know tabletop or VT?
As in, which one do I prefer?
Yes. Which one do we which one do we prefer? Which one do we feel works better? Is better?
You go ahead and answer it first.
I honestly have to say at this juncture in my life, VT, only because I don't have the opportunity to screw up game as much as I used to.
I have to say that it's an equal 50-50 for me now. If you asked me a year ago, I would have said face-to-face. But now that I've gotten to do it online pretty much every week, more than 3 times a week, every week for the last year plus, I have to say that it's 50-50. So much of my game mastering goes into body language and goes into the looks on my face and just things that I do, little quirky things that I do while I'm at my table that I cannot translate in a virtual tabletop. However, at the same time, for those of you who've watched me draw my maps on my streams, I can't do that and have that level of detail at my home games because I can't draw a stick figure. And the automation is actually a shit ton easier in a VTT versus a tabletop. So my wife can't add 2 and 2 with both of her socks off. So yeah, the automation definitely is a huge bonus. So yeah, it's 50-50. I like playing tabletop. I like, with face-to-face, and I like doing virtual tabletop. I like them equally.
Yep. Definitely. Like I said, right now I'm so much more virtual tabletop than I am face-to-face, only because, well, yeah, you guys can mute me now. Okay. Last question before we announce our winners. Would you guys say that D&D is good to teach people various things to some degree? Examples would be like math, social interaction, stuff like that. Oh my gosh, yes. Just yes.
My wife and I were both leaders for our local scout troops, Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts. And both of us utilized tabletop role-playing in our lesson plans for all of these kids, most of which who had never seen gaming before ever in their lives. It is an amazing and invaluable tool that will teach them how to interact socially, how to do mathematics, basic physics, teamwork, problem solving. I mean, there are so many different things that it teaches them. Public speaking is a huge one. I mean, kids today don't understand that public speaking comes from your mouth and not from your thumbs, because they think that posting something to a blog is public speaking. It's not. You know, I so much enjoyed watching these kids who, when we would start with a lot of them, they literally hid behind their parents' legs when they would come to a meeting. Inside a couple of months, they told their parents that they could leave, and they were happy, and they wanted to go do things. They wanted to play games. My oldest boy is 17 years old. He's going to be an Eagle Scout this year. And he uses role-playing games as a part of how he teaches younger scouts to do basic things. Matter of fact, the Boy Scouts of America and the Girl Scouts of America both have game design merit badges for both groups. So I think gaming is actually a fantastic way to teach people to do things. It's also an insanely fantastic way that if you have somebody with mental handicaps, to be able to communicate. Sometimes communicating through a fantasy world is easier than communicating in a realistic world, and communication can be grown through instances of role-playing. So I highly recommend using role-playing with children, with the mentally handicapped, with people who are shy. I think that it's a fantastic way to break people out and to teach them something new.
I have to agree, and Alira brings up a really good point that D&D is being used by psychiatrists now to help those who have things like PTSD and autism, Asperger's, anything like that. It's because when dealing with people who have these conditions, you have to be able to meet them on their level. You can't expect them to come to your level. You have to come to them. And it's awesome. Okay, so now it's time to announce the winner of our contest. Da, 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 da.
Well, technically they have 4 minutes left. So you know what? Why don't we give them 30 more seconds? Since votes are pretty much almost all the way up. If you would like to vote in the decorations, who is going to win, let me go through them one more time for everybody. Okay, this is picture number 1. This is Dog Day Christmas. If you wish to vote for this one, type !bet, the letter A, and then the number of experience points. This is Ho Ho Holy Shit, It's Santa, which is B. If you like this one, please bet B. Happy Big Mac Christmas is C. One Wreath, 4 Pine Cones is D. Santa's Other Brother is E. Away in a Brick Manger is F. And finally, A Fan of Christmas is G. So please, everybody, this is your last opportunities. Please go ahead and bet. Once again, is !bet, then the letter, and then the number of experience points you wish to bet on the winner. Susie Q, who do you think you're gonna vote? Who's gonna win on this?
Oh, I'm really, you know what? I'm really hoping for Dog Day Christmas.
I like Dog Day Christmas, and well, my top 3. If I had to pick top 3, it'd be, and this is in no particular order: Dog Day Christmas, Ho Ho Holy Shit, It's Santa, and Away in a Brick Manger. Those are my 3.
See, my three are Dog Day Christmas, One Wreath, 4 Pine Cones, and Away in a Brick Manger.
But of course, Susie and I are exempt from voting. We do not vote in this. So we have nothing to do with this. We do know who everybody is, so we will contact the winner a little bit later on Discord to say that you've won and what you have won, what your fabulous prizes are that you have won, which is Luckslinger, by the way, and we will give you the code for Luckslinger on Steam at that point. But alrighty, here we go. We're getting ready to close this bad boy. And we're going to be picking ourselves a winner. And the winner, by a little bit of a landslide, 35.7% of everything. 35.7% of all votes went to this one. The number of experience points that you're betting is how much you'll win back or you'll lose, but it goes by total number of votes is how many that who's going to win. Okay, so in first place, the one who wins for tonight at 35.7% of the votes is Dog Day Christmas. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Dog Day Christmas is our winner. Hawkeye, I will get in touch with you in Discord over the next 24 hours with your code. Now, ho ho holy shit, it's Santa actually had the highest number of experience points wagered on it. And believe it or not, was only beaten by 11%.
Wow.
Yep. So, yeah, the dog wins. The dog won over anybody else. Now time for the one giveaway that everybody wanted to see. This is your last opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. This is your last opportunity to purchase tickets for the Fantasy Grounds Standard License Giveaway. I will give everybody another 30 seconds.
Get them in.
Yeah, we have 106 tickets out, by the way. 106 tickets have been bought for this thing.
Wow, guys. Way to go. Oh, and don't forget, if you have any extra XP left over, or any geocoins left over after all of this, you can convert them to XP and make sure you donate them to our charity stream. This is going for a really, really good cause.
Okay.
We don't have much left to gather for our charity stream, and I think it's got a week and a half left. Is that right?
I'll tell you after I pull this.
Okay.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't gotten to buy your tickets yet for the Fantasy Grounds Standard License Giveaway, brought to you by 100 followers. Yes, 100 followers followed GeoQuester Gaming. And now we are going to have our drawing. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's 108 tickets now sold out. So here we go. Our drawing is going to be Tylindell is our winner today. He's our wiener.
Wiener, chicken dinner.
Congratulations, Ty. You have won a standard license copy of Fantasy Grounds.
I'm not even sure if he's here today. He is not in our stream today. Oh, Ty.
That's okay. I'll message him later on Discord, and we will get him all set up with a standard license.
Woo-hoo.
Congratulations, Ty. Okay, now before we go for tonight, let me go over a little bit of stuff. The question was, how many more experience points do we need for our charity stream? Okay, we have 11 days left on our charity stream event. If you have not donated experience points to get to that goal of 200,000 experience points, please do so. We have 123,900 experience points donated so far. We are just over halfway there. Actually, we are just about 76,100 experience points away from winning.
Let's go. Let's go. We can do this, guys. And what cause is this going to again?
Okay, once we have the interest, that's basically what this is, okay? The idea that we are trying to back this is just determining whether there's interest for having a charity stream. The charity stream we are going to be having is a dungeon race for Extra Life. The Extra Life charity is what we'll be doing it for. That will probably take place sometime this summer if this is backed. And more information will be available come springtime as to when and how you can be involved in the charity stream. I do know who is donating, and those who have donated the most will indeed get the highest priority on getting into games. So let's go ahead and keep on donating.
Yep. We're doing awesome so far.
And finally, the last piece of business last two pieces of business for today is because of the overwhelming demand, Delver's Society will now be a regular event on my stream. It will now start after the new year on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. I have people redeeming stuff while I'm talking. It'll be every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, most likely. It may be during the day for some of the overseas members. We will be doing another dungeon run for the Delver Society, which is a timed dungeon run with a certain number of goals that need to be reached throughout the dungeon. And once those have been reached, then the players get to have extra bonus experience points in the stream. So that will start on Wednesdays after New Year's. So that will be the 4th, I believe, is the first one. January 4th will be the first of the regular events.
Yes, January 4th is the first Thursday in January.
Okay. And our final piece of information, last but certainly not least, is we are happy to announce that GeoQuester Gaming is having our very first guest next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This guest is none other than the community manager for the Adventurers League, Robert Aducci. He will be joining us on Game Masters 911 next week to answer all of your Adventure League questions. So please have plenty of questions available for him. I believe he's actually in our stream right now. As I look. He actually missed today. But yes, he will be in our stream answering questions. For those of you who missed it, he is the community manager for the Adventurers League. So please stop by the Adventurers League. Check him out there. If you have any questions about the Adventurers League, about what's coming up, I do hear there's something epic coming up. especially in January. ALCon. ALCon. But there's something epic coming. So this would be your opportunities to ask him any questions about anything pertaining to the Adventurers League. If you have not followed us yet, please be sure to hit us follow. If you have not joined our Discord yet and you would like to join our Discord and get in on some gaming action on GeoQuester Gaming or on Rob Tui's stream or on FSH Schmo's stream, please by all means hit us up on Discord. If you'd like to watch any of our YouTube videos, you can check out those links as well. And for myself and for my wife Susie Q, I would like to thank everybody for coming and visiting us tonight. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, have a good one.
Stay safe, guys.
Good night.